Before you watch the video, we kindly ask that you hit the like button. It costs you nothing, helps us a lot. On to the show. Super Duty Tough Work. Once again, the most infamous podcast on planet Earth. Back again to our loyal listeners, supporters, our casual listeners as well. What up to y'all? People who pop in every 6-7 months. What's good? We appreciate y'all just the same. You know what I mean? Y'all need inspiration too. And everybody ain't got time to listen to podcasts. So we just make the shit and put it out into the universe.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens, happens, It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Fathers. All you fathers out there, happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do what you want to do today. Enjoy your day. Do nothing. Doing nothing is good.
It's good sometimes.
Yeah, dude. I've been kind of doing I've been doing close to nothing for about 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it feels weird at first, but then you start feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realize is that, you got to trust that if you're a motivated person, you're eventually going to want to do something.
Yes.
So that's what I've been trying to get to that point where it's like, okay, enough.
Yeah, because I think once you sit down and you don't do nothing for a while, it kind of, especially after, you done toured, you just dropped the record, you deserve some time to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I think also like for creative people, that kind of resets us and, kind of gives us a little more time to kind of step back from what we've already done, especially, someone in your position that's done a lot over the last year, really,
Yeah.
Getting the album ready and campaign and tour and all that, to where you can kind of, okay, what's my next, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the plan for the next, kind of reset and, look towards the future and see what your next thing that you want to tackle is. So you deserve to have, a couple weeks, a month off if you want, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Because I be feeling guilty. I feel so guilty, like, damn.
Yeah.
You really not going to do nothing ambitious today? And it's just like, I don't feel like it yet. And every day I do a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And, you start kind of, like you're saying, mapping out, planning out where you want to go with it. And that's kind of all I've been doing. I don't want to say I haven't been doing nothing, but not as productive as I normally would be. But yeah, it takes time to kind of sit down and take some time off. And, driven people, sometimes we have to like force ourselves to take time off.
You still doing them beats, you know what I'm saying? You still knocking them joints out. I got a special email yesterday.
I did send some fire to your email last night. I did.
I did get some flames in my email last night.
Yeah. Your man's was up working. I was like, I gotta send this to this man. This is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You be looking for the sound. I was like, I'll talk to him tomorrow. I'll see if he like it. But it
yeah.
passed all of my personal tests. It passed those, and I was like, yeah, let me send this before I end up keeping this motherfucker, because this shit is...
Get 16 off real quick.
Yeah. I don't want to do that to you. Let me send it to my man, see what he got on it. But yeah, we working on music, y'all. The podcast, we here. On this topic, this is something I wanted to talk about anyway when I first got back, but I didn't really have the energy. I was like, let me take some time to reflect. And so this week we want to talk about just like the tour, biggest lessons from the tour. In the past we've done like, the award show for tours, best cities, best this, best that. This one I just want to do like some general lessons. Got like 6 or 7 general lessons that are things that I either learned again, was reminded of, or just kind of hit me all over again for the first time. And so I want to share those for anybody who's been curious about the tour. This week we're going to talk about the biggest lessons from the Falling Down tour, because as you know, as listeners to this podcast, it's my first tour in like 6 years, and definitely some things have changed. So we want to talk about that today, man, and hopefully you guys get something out of this. So we will take a break and we'll be right back. We got you stuck off the realness, the most infamous, you heard of us. Official podcast murderers, the show comes equipped with viewpoints to share. Grown man ideas for all those who care and wanna grow, so go ahead and download. Every single week with a brand new episode. You're not alone in this world, cousin, so we share information and honest discussion and keep repping a culture like we supposed to. They spread gossip, but they never come close to. I can hear it inside their tone. They talk about the industry but never left their home. You get laced up with bullet points and such, plus empowering topics that they never would touch. You can put your whole network against a team, but Super Duty Tough Work's the MVP. Most valuable podcast on MP3. Priceless info, but all of it's free. So take these words home and think them through. Super Duty Tough Work is coming at you. You are now listening to Super Duty Tough Work with your host, Blueprint. Raw and uncut. Adult conversations. No shucking, no jiving, and no bullshit. All right, folks, we back. Super Duty Tough Work, Blueprint. Alogic, my illustrious co-host. We are back in the lab. You know, we took some time off because I was on the road. I was out in them streets, among the people, shaking hands, kissing babies, politicking, laying the smack down. 20 shows, 9 states, 2 countries in 1 month. And I learned many lessons. Some lessons are things that I am adopting that are new. Some are things that I've thought about that really, really hit me this tour. And so we're not even going to bullshit. We're going to get straight into this. The first lesson from the Falling Down tour is that you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. I know that on this podcast, Alogic and I present ourselves as fiercely independent people. We do a lot. He makes beats, does photography, raps, produces. I wear all those hats as well. Many, many more. But one thing I've realized in the last year, really, when I got into trucking, is that like talent will take you to a certain level. But when I take a step back and I look at the people who are really successful, they have teams around. A lot of times we don't even see those teams. We don't know what goes into making a show successful, making an album release successful, making this artist stay at a certain level of quality for so long. How do they stay at this point for so long? How are they always sharp? How is their business always handled? What we don't see oftentimes is these people have teams around them. Sometimes they're formal teams, like, oh, you're on a record label, right? You got a deal or whatever. A lot of times it's just people who they rock with, friends and family, holding them down. Sometimes they have fans who help them in certain aspects. And what I've learned and have been super, super reminded of by just going on this tour is that no good show happens by accident.
Mm-hmm.
No good show happens because one person. A good show is the product of many people, many things coming together and working towards one goal, to throw a successful event. And this is just touring. It's just one example. You know, like we could apply this to everything we do. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes we can fall into this romanticized view of being an independent artist, of being self-employed, of being out here and thinking that all I got to do is work harder and shit will work for me. And then we fall into this trap, the trap of like, as you start to take off, you start to take on more. Because what happens is the more successful you are, the more business you create. Right. The more business you create, the more time it takes you to handle all of that business. So truthfully, as you become more successful, the worst thing you can do is to keep taking on more. Because you have less and less time the more successful and consistent you are with your success. The smart people, what they do is they start to bring people into the process early.
Yeah.
They start to reach out to people who have certain talents, certain skills. And then they bring those people in, whether it's you hiring them, whether it's you working with them, whether it's them volunteering their time, whatever arrangement you work out is your arrangement. Some people legit be like, yo, I just want to help you. What do you need? Boom, they help you. Whether you do, I have different relationships with different people, but the goal right now, and I posted on Twitter a long time, was like, I want 2024 to be the year of more collaboration and less isolation. And that means that I'm making a conscious effort to work with more people now, because more than ever, I understand that you can't do it alone. And trying to do it alone ain't gonna do nothing but burn you out and make you hate this shit. And then you'll be out of here because you spent more time and money and energy on tasks that you didn't enjoy doing, that you could have had someone help you with, and you could have got so much more done if you would have just swallowed your pride and brought people into the process.
Yeah, and also, when you try to take on so much and you do so much and you wear so many hats, the quality of everything is not going to be at its height.
Absolutely.
Because you're split so many ways. And if you're not a professional photographer, if you're not a professional, whatever, then you can always hire somebody or get somebody to help you that'll take it to the quality that you want it to be. Like, for example, me doing the Vibe Society thing. Like, on nights when I'm DJing too, I don't have time to take pictures. I don't have time to do video. I don't have time to take care of the social media because I'm DJing and I'm hosting. I don't have time to do all that. So I've been actually thinking about for that event, because we've had some dope events. I just haven't been able to get the coverage I needed, because I'm trying to do all of it.
Yep.
So I've been thinking about, hiring somebody to work those events just so we can have the coverage and the Instagram can pop and people can see that it's a dope event and come out to the event. But I don't have time to do all that myself. And I was trying to do it all myself and it's just not working. You know what I'm saying? So you can't do any of this by yourself.
You can't.
You can try.
You can try, but you reach the point that you reached, right? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I can't be in two places at once.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what would happen if I had somebody do that? Like, could I help boost the profile of the event, which brings more people in, which brings more money in, which makes things easier? But then you hit that point, like you hit that plateau, right? Where you're like, wait a minute, I can't do both of these things.
Right.
And that's what I want people to understand. It's similar to like, look at what I did this time around. The people who will watch the campaign for Falling Down know that I did like some behind the scenes shit for like a couple of music videos. I hired Illogic to come shoot that footage. I hit this man, hey, I obviously can't be in a music video and get behind the scenes footage. Can you come out?
Yeah.
Either here's your camera, use my camera, here's the fucking SD card, whatever. I paid this man to come out and get the footage, and all of a sudden I wasn't stressed about capturing no moments no more. I was able to create dope content that people enjoyed. Hired Mario to help me shoot. Right? These are the things that, like, in the past, maybe I would have just tried to just do it myself and figure I'll get some behind the scenes footage because I'm there on my phone or something. It's like, why? Because of pride and because we cheap.
Yep.
Those are the two big factors.
Yep.
Cheapness and pride. Sometimes they're hand in hand. Maybe we be prideful about spending the money. I ain't spending I ain't paying nobody to come take pictures. They do it anyway.
Yeah, I could do that.
Why these artists can't just take pictures of every people? You know what I mean? You got to come up with something, because there's a cap on what we can do by ourselves. And so one of the things that I started seeing when I got home, like I had, was more like, okay, sit down and make an honest assessment of what you saw, what could be improved upon, and who has ideas to take this to the next level. Not just, who showed up, inventory of myself to say, okay, what can we do better? How can we take what we learned here and take it to the next level? That's what I have a hard time doing all by myself. I need people to hit me with ideas and objective points of view that help me evolve. And then I'll know who to bring in and how to execute it. But sometimes we just need to open up the process completely and let people around us know, hey, I'm no island.
Mm-hmm.
I need you. What do you think? What do y'all think? How can we improve this? And until you're ready to do that, you're going to always have a cap on what you can do. So that's the number one thing. Number one lesson from the Falling Down tour. The number two thing I learned, biggest lesson, is that the inspiration is with the people, man. It's with the people. What I notice about art now, and we talk about it on this podcast, is that it's easier than ever to make music, right? It's easier than ever to buy the equipment to make the music. It's easier than ever to get on social media and share it. You know, you got a phone, you got a light or two. You can make some solid footage, a mic. You can make some solid content, right? But what's hard is community. Community is hard. Getting out of your bedroom and finding the people who fuck with you and what you do, that's hard. Anybody can make a fucking beat. But the truth is, there's a limit to how inspired you're going to be sitting at home in your bedroom, in your studio. And so going on the road to me was a reminder that, oh, this is where it's at. It's the fucking people. It's not you. It's not just the fucking studio. It's not the fucking MIDI controller. The magic happens when we take what we do and we bring it to the people. That's the magic. The magic is not us just sitting here by ourselves, isolated. And so going on the road reminded me, like, oh, this is a two-way conversation. And the reason people are here is because of that factor. Mm-hmm. And so as artists, creative people, we have to always remember that. Like sometimes it's good to stay in your house and get your shit done. But if you're not doing the other half of that, which is taking it to the people, sharing it with the people, you're ultimately going to run out of inspiration.
Yeah, that's what we do it for anyway. I mean, you know, if we're artists that put out music, then the whole reason that you're making music is for the people to hear.
Hello.
So, you know, so why not interact with them? Even if you're doing it through social media, at least be interactive. You know what I mean? Be responsive to your DMs. Be, you know what I'm saying? Like interact with the people, because that's what we do this for anyway. Without them, we wouldn't be doing it, you know, at the level we're doing it, at least, you know.
It's a fact. It's a fact. And it's wild how easy it's been to forget that over these last 4-5 years. Like you think about since all the COVID shut down everything, since 2020, you know, it's very easy to forget there's a social aspect to all of the shit we do. I mean, this is a podcast. Yeah. You and I have these conversations all the time, you know, but it's the fact that we share it with the people that makes this shit work. It's the fact that people listen to this and they engage with us and they participate and we speak to what they're going through. That's what the fuck makes this shit magic.
Right.
Anybody can talk into a fucking mic, talk to themselves. No magic about that. But there's something that we can't lose sight of. And I think we often lose sight of, which is that it's a two-way conversation. And that if you're not fucking with the people, you're going to have a hard time staying inspired. You know, a lot of the people, I see artists have meltdowns on social media. It's, you know, this is, you set your damn clock to it. It's so fucking common. Every year or two, certain artists get pissed off at social media. They get pissed off at everything. But the common thread I see among the people who be the most pissed off about the artists, that they don't really be among the people. You know, they might post something every blue moon. They don't really fuck with the people. You never see them out and about fucking with the fans or really doing nothing like that. And it makes me think that, like, that's what they're missing. Because money or no money, you and I could get together and play beats for each other and we would be amped and shit.
Right. Yeah.
It's the community. Like you got a producer event, right? Every month. Y'all could sit in that same place with 5 chairs in a circle,
Mm-hmm.
playing beats for each other.
Yep.
And that shit would be fire. Y'all would be like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? If no one was there, y'all could do that event at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock with just the producers playing heat for each other. It'd be like, this shit kind of fire, right? Like, oh, that's dope, that's dope. Adding people to it makes it even better. It really reminds you. But like, you couldn't sit in that bar by yourself and play them fucking beats and get that same joy.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So we should never lose sight of that, man. Like, being inspired is a function of sharing and dealing with other people. And if you are uninspired, the first thing I would challenge you to do is get out of the fucking house. Stop sitting around. Stop watching YouTube. Stop making things for a minute and go be among the people who actually have a use for the things you make. That's number 2. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. This is your weekly reminder that we have 2 books that you, as a listener or watcher of this podcast, need to absolutely own. The first is The 10 Traits of Successful Hip Hop Artists, and the second is The Social Media Cheat Code. Both of these books were released within the last year. The 10 Traits of Successful Hip Hop Artists is a book where I go through the stories and explain the traits that are behind the success of some of the biggest names in hip hop today. The book has got nothing but amazing feedback. And if you are an artist, business person, whatever you do, if you would like to be inspired and would like to learn more about hip hop along the way and also see some reinforcement of the concepts that we talk about on this podcast, The 10 Traits of Successful Hip Hop is for you. Second book is The Social Media Cheat Code. That is for everyone who listens to this podcast who does not consider themselves an expert or really good at social media. It's not for super experienced people. It's actually for people who are on social media but are not getting the results you need. So what we did is I broke down like 12 or 13 strategies that I use all the time that actually work really well for me. I put it into book. I gave you examples and I tell you how to implement it. That's a book you absolutely need as a listener to this podcast, or watcher of this podcast. If you're on YouTube, supporting these books actually goes a long way towards supporting the podcast. So to support the show, if you like what we do, obviously we don't necessarily get paid to do this shit. So support the products and services that we create. And these 2 books are a big part of that. We appreciate your support, and back to the show. What's up, everybody? Got some big news to share with you all today. I'm proud to announce that for the first time, I will be opening up my artist coaching and consulting services to the public. I have been doing it for several years behind the scenes, helping artists and small businesses achieve their goals, but it's never been something that I made publicly available, nor anything that I promoted until now. So if you're an artist or a small business owner, I'm now available to be booked for one-on-one sessions designed to help you achieve your goals as quickly and as efficiently as possible. If this is something that you're interested in, email me at superdutytoughwork@weightless.net. Tell me a little bit about yourself and we'll get the ball rolling from there. I look forward to working with you all. Peace. Yeah. We back, folks. Super Duty Tough Work, Blueprint and Logic. This week we're talking about the biggest lessons from the Falling Down tour. You know, shout out to everybody who made it out. Shout out to all the fans who made it out. You know what I mean? All the new fans who never see me live, you know, who came out. Listeners of the podcast who came out. Appreciate y'all. You know, we are on number 3. The number 3 lesson from the Falling Down tour is don't try to get it all back at once. This one right here goes out to all my older artists. Mm-hmm. If you 30 plus, this is for you. Because if you 30 plus, you probably are feeling some sort of pressure about your art, about time, about maybe opportunities you've missed, Maybe you got a family now. Maybe you got a job, a career. I don't even say a job. You got a fucking career now. You hit 35 to 40, you got a fucking career now, most likely. When you get to these ages, you have things that pull you that ain't got nothing to do with your art, your craft. And what I've seen is like there's a temptation amongst older artists, a pressure to feel like we got to get everything back all at once. We gotta, if this record don't work, it ain't gonna work. If I can't get from first base to fucking third base on my first at bat, why the fuck am I even swinging the bat? There's a pressure. I've felt the pressure sometimes. I have to remember every time I come down here in the studio, I have to tell myself, don't try to get it all back at once. That means that do what you can that day and leave it at that. When you start getting into this pressure of this whole giant thing that you're trying to take on and build, it can be overwhelming. And if you're an older artist, sometimes you just want to give up. Like, yo, I don't feel like doing this shit because there's no guarantees that I'm gonna get this back. And what if it takes 3 years? What if it takes 5 years? What if it takes 4 albums? I don't know if I got that kind of time. I got a career. I need it now. Right? That's the advantage that the younger artists got over the older artists. The younger artists ain't got nothing else to fucking do.
Right. No responsibilities, no nothing.
Nothing but time on his hands.
Yeah.
He got time. He can give it, hey, I'm here for the foreseeable future. I ain't going nowhere.
I remember those days.
Right. Fucking carefree. Carefree as shit. You don't care. Oh, how long this take? Whatever.
I'm here.
I ain't going nowhere. That's how we was, man. We was like that.
Yeah, but I remember shit. I remember one day, it was a weekend. I think like I got a call on like a Thursday. Like, yo, can you be in, I think it was Minneapolis. Like, can you be in Minneapolis on Saturday? I was like, word. Hopped on the Greyhound the next day. Can't do that now. You know what I'm saying? No. I got shit to do.
Bro, that was the life. We was the kings of that. Hey, y'all come up to New York next weekend? Why not? Chicago. Right. Shit, we ain't got nothing else to do.
We see you there.
Yep. What time is the event? Oh, yeah. Hey, man, I'm about to. Oh, I ain't got a car. Oh, we go. Like you say, we go Greyhound it.
Yep.
Me and you Greyhounded it from Cincinnati to motherfucking Minneapolis. I had my MPC. Yep. It was me, you, and my MP. Sitting on the seat.
14 hours.
Yeah, 14, 16 hours. It was long as hell. Because it's 12 to drive.
Right.
So a Greyhound, you got to add 6 to that motherfucker, man. Because all the stopping. Right. It probably took us 18 hours, man. We ain't care. We love this shit. We had nothing but time, man.
Yep.
Nothing but fucking time on our hands, dude. And so it's like, but as you get older, you get real self-conscious about time. You're more aware of time. You know you don't have forever. But I think that sometimes we get a little too sensitive to time. And we start feeling like, well, I need to see this pay off right now, or it's not even worth doing. But the reason we do it ain't got nothing to do with the money. It's like, whatever your craft is, it should be enriching enough to where you just get something out of it no matter what.
Right.
Like the feeling you get when you make a fire beat.
Yeah. Even if nobody heard it, it's just walk around all day listening to that joint feeling good.
Over and over again.
Like I'm the man.
Don't let it be a crazy verse. The verse is right. Crazy.
Oh, come on.
Dude, it's like people have no fucking idea the joy we get out of that. And I say that if you're an artist, that's what you should be getting.
Right.
First and foremost, you should be getting that. And anything after that is icing on the cake. But the time thing, don't feel like you got to get it all back at once is my advice. You know, there was a temptation that I had to kind of, my first tour back, to go out there and do it like I did all my other tours, which is 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 65, 70 shows. You know what I mean? Like, get it all back at once. I got to go here. People like, yo, why aren't you coming to the West Coast? And I was like, early in the process, I was like, if I do that, then that's kind of like a scarcity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's some get it all back at once shit. I gotta go and put everything in, put it all on the line, go everywhere at the same time. And it's like, nah, I don't think I want to do that this time. I don't think I need to. I don't think it's healthy for me to take that attitude right now. There will come a time when I do a tour like that. But it's like, yo, why don't I just do fucking 20 shows? Like last year, I was like, I only want to do 15 to 20 shows this year. I got my 20 shows exactly in. I'm cool. Next year, I'll probably do more, but I felt like that was enough for me. I was like, I'll go to the states that I have the most success in. You know what I mean? Ohio, Texas, Florida, Colorado. And then anything after that, maybe we do it, maybe we don't, but it's no pressure. I didn't want to get into this thing where I feel like I'm racing just because I'm older and I got to get it all back at once. And my advice to all of the older artists is don't feel like you got to get it all back at once. Whether you younger, whether you older, the job is the same. You know, when you're older, yeah, you're more cognizant of time because you have less of it. So your task is just to maximize the time you have, not to just like throw everything at it and feel like if I don't get it right now, then fuck it. You know, it's a very destructive, negative mindset, you know.
And if you're putting the work in and you're doing things correctly, then you don't have to. You don't have to try to get it all back at once. You can do 20 shows here, take 3-4 months off, do 20 more shows if you want. You know what I'm saying? Or do 20 shows this year, do 20 shows next year and hit those other spots. Like you can do that if you're working your shit correctly.
Absolutely.
And the fact that we're independent, we ain't got nobody to answer to, we can make our own schedule.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to feel that pressure. Like I said, if you're working on your campaigns right, if you're doing your press right, if you're doing all your album shit right, doing your videos, putting that shit out there, promoting all that stuff, then you should be sustained enough to not have to do 60 dates at once.
Yep.
80 dates. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be able to do 20 and, you know, kind of piecemeal it out there, especially with you just coming back after 6 years. Like you don't want to put that stress on your voice, on your body.
No.
You know, what if the shit flopped? You know what I'm saying?
That's a long ass tour just to be flopping every night.
You know what I mean?
Long tour.
Like
dang.
You don't know. So it was very smart of you to, you know, take it short and small. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and not try to get it all back.
Yeah, leave a little meat on the bone, as they used to say back in the day.
Little meat.
as the OGs used to say, you know.
Yeah.
Leave a little meat on the bone. But yeah, that's number 3. Number 4 lesson from the Falling Down tour is success is relative. This is something I'm reminded of every time I'm on tour. And so what reminded me of this was like my Minneapolis show, or I should say my St. Paul show. You know, my St. Paul show was like, it was the same night that the Timberwolves played Game 7 against Denver, right? So I knew it was like that game started. That game started at 7. My doors was at 7. You know, it was in St. Paul, not Minneapolis proper. So that was a little different. And it was like, you know, I just didn't have. It was one of the last shows confirmed on the tour, so we had less time to promote it as others. So I didn't have high hopes for it. You know, we did our best to promote it, and you know, it was probably about 40 people there. You know, probably about 40 people. Oh, we were in a room that was way too big. We were in like a 400 cap, 300 cap room. So, you know, you put 40 in a 100 cap small room, you're looking all right, which is what we're doing typically. You put 40 in about, you know, in a small, in a 400 cap, 300 cap, it looks a little shaky. It can look a little shaky, you know. But so I was kind of down on myself about that, you know, like, damn, this is kind of fucked up. Then I talked to another artist. And I'm not gonna say their names, but they had a show there earlier, I think maybe the day before ours. And you know, same lane as me, similar size artists, and like they told me that artist put like them in the staff was the only ones there. You know what I mean? And they lost their voice and all this other shit. It was like all bad. Things were going bad. And I was sitting there like, yo, you be feeling all bad because you got 40 people up against these factors. And really, and people were just like, Print, I can't come out. It's Game 7. The Timberwolves might go to the finals, Chief.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Minnesota ain't had a game 7 in like 20 years.
Right. It's like, sorry, man, we can't show up, man. Sorry, man. I was like, I get it. You know what I mean? And you beat yourself up, and then you realize, like, yo, there's other people out here who would love to have that level of success that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Because you maybe look at it like, damn, I didn't do what I normally do here. But it happens. It's part of the process. There's been times I toured places, I did fucking 20 people, came back and did fucking 150 the next time.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends. Sometimes you can flop. It's part of it. You just got to trust the process and put on dope shows. But like, never beat yourself up too much about what you perceive to be failure. Because somebody else who you think is doing better than you might actually be wishing they had that success you had.
Touring is always like that. Because you never know what fact. When you plan a tour, you don't always look at the calendar for the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think about what other shows is going on, what other this, what other that. You know what I mean? So you book a tour and shit just fall on the wrong day. You know what I'm saying?
Catch a bad one. You just catch a bad bounce,
just catch
man.
a bad one, and it's not your fault. Like, because if it wasn't the NBA, if they wasn't in the finals, you probably would have had, a good number of people there.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the homies, because I'm sure the homies probably didn't even come out. You know, like that. Because they was at the game, watching the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't mad at him either. I was like, shit, I'll be watching the motherfucker too if I was from here. I wouldn't be going to see me play if I lived here. Like, you my homie, I'm gonna catch you next go around, bro.
Yep.
Still love you. But it's just a good lesson for me to think about, like, hey, be careful about beating yourself up over certain things. Always maintain some distance and some objectivity, because you may think you're failing only because of how things are presented. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you're really not. You're doing great. You know what I mean? So that's number 4. Number 5 lesson from the tour is less is more. This goes out to all my opening acts out there. All my openers. You and I know this story well, Joe. Most openers play at least 2 songs more than they should.
At least
2. Like, say they got a 30-minute set, they probably only got about 20 minutes of good material.
Mm-hmm.
And by good material, I mean material that can move the crowd, that's interesting. And there's factors that are more important than your material, which is just like, nobody knows you. There's novelty there in being an opening act. And the longer you stay on stage, the more you wear off your novelty.
Mm-hmm.
The goodwill and the love that people have during the first 10 minutes of your set, that shit starts to wane as you get to minute 25, minute 30. Oh, you want to do 2 more songs at minute 30? Oh, you want to play 40 minutes? Okay. Those last 10 minutes is going to be worse than your first 15. They're going to be the worst 10 minutes of your set. And the longer you go, the worse it's going to go. But you can't tell an opener shit.
Yeah.
You can't tell them this. They think that, all songs is created equal. The crowd gonna fuck with me because I'm here. It's gonna work no matter what length I do. And so they push it, and they never end on a high note.
Right.
Never. And I'm just like, if you'd have just stopped right there and been like, peace, you'd have sold all the merch in this motherfucker, man. Everybody would have ran to your table. You'd have got an ovation. But what you did was you decided to go another 20 minutes. You played 45. You should have played 30, 25.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I don't just like to say this like I'm beating up on openers, because it's not even that. I open for people as well. Something I would do when I would go out Atmosphere, I would do this exact same thing. Mm-hmm. There were tours I did with Atmosphere where they would give us 45 minutes. It would be 2 openers, 45 minutes. I never played 45.
Mm-hmm.
Never. My
strong
whole
30.
Strong 30.
Strong 30.
Dude, there was one night in Detroit, I'll never forget this. The other opener, he played before me. He did 50 minutes, 55. He had his 45 and he just wanted to go longer for whatever reason. He did damn near an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sat there. Number one, I thought it was a little just like disrespectful, but I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I talked to Groove. Talked about our set. We did a hot 17 minutes. I promise you. It was 17 of the most fire routines and songs we had, though. We got rid of everything that would normally take it 30. It was 17 minutes. We got done. The tour manager was like, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? Did something not? No, we're good. We're not going to use all that time. You guys didn't play it? No, we're cool. 17's cool. He's like, you guys only played 17? We're like, you guys started for 45. So no, this is cool. I never moved more merch on that tour than that night. That night, I swear I probably moved 70 to 100 CDs. 17 fucking minutes of the most concentrated, dopest shit I had in my bag. I didn't push nothing extra in there. None of that filler, none of that lose your novelty. And I ended on a high fucking note. People are just like, they wanted more.
Yeah.
That's where you should be leaving people if you're opener. Leave them to where they want to hear more, not to where they've heard enough.
Right. Like, oh, he's still playing? Let me go get a drink. Let me go smoke.
I've heard enough. Yep. Seen everything.
Yeah.
We know what they got. He said, let me go get a drink. Let me go smoke something. I'm out. Let me go holler at my man over here. Let me walk away from the stage. I've seen enough. I've heard enough. Instead of, I want to hear more.
Yeah.
Less is more. I don't know how else to tell people this shit. It's like, I tell them this shit. Most of them don't want to get it or admit it. Always do less because novelty is important. You want people to want more, not to have heard enough.
Yeah. Anytime you are opening act, I always use this rule. If you have 30, plan for 20 to 25.
Yep.
I always try to plan for 5 to 10 minutes less than the time that I'm allowed.
Yep.
Just because I know that maybe I'll talk a little bit. Maybe, shit might not. So I'll end up probably using the 30, but I only plan for 20 to 25. And if I get done early, then I'm done early. You know what I'm saying? Because we've done this to the point where if I'm opening for somebody, I know how that feels to be the guy waiting while opening act. And I mean, I got fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could play an hour and probably still do a dope set, but I'm not going to it's not my show. Right. It's not my show. So I know I can play a hot 20, hot 25, get off on a high note, sell some merch, and keep it moving.
Yes. I beg of y'all, if any of y'all are listening to this who do opening sets, I beg of y'all, play less. Try it out. And let me know. Like, there's always a point where don't give people too much.
Yeah.
Make them curious enough to where, like, they want to walk up to the merch table. They want to talk to you. They want to hear more. They want to learn more. But y'all don't give them that. Y'all wear out your fucking novelty by playing too long. Less is more. And so, we'll take a break and be right back with the last two. Quick announcement. Over the last several years, we've been asked many times by the listeners of the show if we would ever open it up to the public for advertising. We've always been interested in this, but we never had the systems in place to make it work properly. I'm proud to announce that we are officially accepting advertising from the public on Super Duty Tough Work. Meaning, if you're a small business owner or an artist and you'd like to create more awareness about your product, service, or release on the Super Duty Tough Work podcast, we're now in a position to do that. For more information, email us at superdutytoughwork@weightless.net. Again, that's superdutytoughwork@weightless.net. Email us there. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you would like to promote, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible to let you know if we think it's a good fit and what the next steps are. Thank you for your time. Back to the show. Are you an artist who has the talent to succeed, but has a hard time executing? Do you have the will to win, but lack the plan? Are you tired of having great ideas that never come to fruition, or starting new projects but never finishing them? If you answered yes to any of these questions, reach out to me at superdutytoughwork@weightless.net to book a one-on-one coaching call. Tell me a little bit about who you are, what you're trying to do, and I'll see if I can be of service to you. Have a great day. All right, folks, we back. Last 2 bullet points as such. This week we're talking about the biggest lessons from the Falling Down tour. And these we got 2 more left. We got 5 down. Number 6 biggest lesson is to do right by people. Do right by people, man. I know the music industry is full of snakes. It's full of scammers. It's full of people who want you to pay for playlist placement. They want you to pay for all types of shit that they're not going to do. Presenting themselves as things that they're not. You know what I mean? It's all kind of people trying to get over on you in this industry.
Yeah.
But do right by people. Your reputation is far more important than you know. And it is a very small world in the music industry. You'd be surprised how few degrees of separation it is between you and somebody else.
Yeah.
You be thinking, I don't know them, fool. I don't know that. Y'all be having all types of mutual friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so while you out here engaging in or doing business in a way that's not ethical sometimes, you would be surprised or probably shocked at how many people know.
Yep.
On this tour, I heard stories about artists that I never would have suspected being shiesty, doing shiesty ass shit to other artists who they people. And that shit had me like, yo, this is fucked up. These are like legends in the game. Like shysting their own people out of money. Oh, he's supposed to pay this man who he put on the show and he run out the back door with the bread.
Wow.
Like crazy ass shit. And make the venue paid him and he's supposed to pay his man and he slid out. It made his man think the venue was supposed to pay him. Crazy. And then they get busted for all this shit and all these relationships is fucked up now because it's been, oh, well, here's our receipts. We did your man did. Oh, damn.
Wow.
Damn. It's a cold fucking world out there, but man, I tell you one thing, if you do right by people, you will always be good.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. Like a lot of people I've dealt with in this music industry, I've dealt with for fucking 10, 15, 20 plus years. That only happens if your reputation is right. You don't have no 10, 15, 20-year relationships in no business unless you're doing pretty good business. And you're a good person.
Right.
And so I know it's not glamorous. I know it's not like cool or sexy to like do business right sometimes. Because sometimes you got to take losses.
Oh, yeah.
Just to pay people to
right.
get right. Yeah, when you do it right, you got to pay people regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to stand on that. And sometimes if you're not willing to take losses, sometimes you end up being with another one of these people in the industry who is causing a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
You know, you say you're going to do something, you don't do it. You shit on this person. You say you're going to get this person that, you don't get it. You don't do it for them. Now you're one of them people. It's better to just be the person who straight up stands on your word, does it no matter what, and you good. Right? And
don't guarantee nobody no money unless you got it in the bank.
Right. Now I don't know. I hope people come out. If turnout is this, I can get you that.
Right.
I say that. Look, when I do shit, I'm gonna get you this much, and if it does well, I'm gonna get you some more.
Right. Exactly.
That's my conversations with people. I don't like the whole like you're saying. Well, I think some people, if people come, man, I'm gonna get you this much no matter what, and then.
Right.
You was counting on that door to bring in all that money. You ain't got that money in your bank. And now you got to go to the ATM or you running out the back door like these dudes, sliding out, pretending, oh, I'm going to get you later.
Yeah.
You running around with people's money. So a lot of that in the game. Don't be that person. The rewards for being honest and doing good business in this game are very high. Keep your name intact. Keep your integrity intact. And, that's what this tour reminded me of. Last one. This is one we've talked about, so we don't even got to go too deep into this one. But lesson number 7 is one that I already knew, but it really hit me Merch rules everything around you.
Merch is king, bro.
Merch is king, bro. It's nothing changes. Nothing changes. You know, years later, I thought like, okay, I've been gone 6 years. I know these artists done caught up on the merch game. I know these openers gonna have a merch spread right. I know they not just about to get up on stage with no merch. Nothing changed, bro. Same shit. 6 years later. Nobody learned shit. I'm over here getting bread like y'all just played. You on the why she bring nothing to sale?
No
Nothing.
shirts, no CDs, nothing.
It's wild, bruh. It's wild. You know, but it's I don't think people truly understand what they're missing out on. You know, so many shows I made more on a merch table than I did on the show.
Yeah.
Not to say I wasn't making nothing on the show. I made solid money for the shows, but a lot of nights I had this was my biggest merch tour out of all the tours I did. Like my average I was doing every night was higher than anything ever. Any tour I've ever been on. And so it's like that shit saves you. That shit allows you to be much more comfortable. When you're doing well on the merch, it allows you to stay in a nicer hotel. You know what I mean? You can eat something decent today. You can pay your people on time. You ain't gotta be the shiesty person who don't pay your people.
Right.
Pay your people. But because you don't want to have no merch, you don't want to fucking sell nothing. Then when there's a discrepancy or you don't get what you thought you gonna get off the door, you ain't got no more money coming in from that event. Whereas the person who got the door money and the merch, they can take care of their people. They can honor their commitments. So get your merch right, man. You ain't got to get it all back at once. Get one thing. You know what I mean? Trust your people. Hey, you get 100 CDs. Get 30 shirts. Who cares?
You can get 100 CDs for like $80.
It's too cheap.
You know
now.
what I'm saying?
There's no excuses.
Like $80, $10 a pop.
Very little commitment, right?
$1,000. That's $1,000 return.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? $80. Come on now.
That's a 1 for 10 flip.
Come on now.
$100. That's a 10x flip. Yeah. I know that sounds good. Yeah. And so it's like, yo, just do it. People don't want to do it. They don't want to sit there and maybe they think that selling merch or having a merch table don't look cool and all that shit. Look, last I checked, making money was cool. And, you know, I ain't getting into numbers, but I know I put my merch numbers against any artist my size. And I would shock some people, you know, how well things do compared to the door. It's like you want both of that. You want the door and you want the merch. You don't want to just choose one. So get your merch right. You know what I mean? Merch is super duper important. This was the first tour I did with the newer books and shit, like with the 10 Trace book and man, look, a lot of nights them 10 Trace books were selling more than the vinyl and shit. Books was moving. I had a feeling they would move when I made the book, but I was like, wasn't touring, hadn't toured since then. Now I know. Now I see it. And just things like that, having a nice diverse spread of things helped me out tremendously. And so to all you artists at home, don't sleep. Get your merch right.
Yep.
And that's it. That's it. You know, so I'm going to read these back. 10 lessons from the tour. Number 1, you can't do it alone. Number 2, inspiration is with the people. Number 3, don't try to get it back all at once. Number 4, success is relative. Number 5, less is more, i.e., quit while you're ahead. Number 6, do right by people. And number 7, merch rules everything around me. Mreem. Get the merch. Mreem. $1 bill, y'all. But yeah, man, so that's it. Biggest lessons from the Falling Down Tour. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Super Duty Tough Work. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Follow the podcast on SoundCloud. Peace.
Shoot, I got styles already that's more complex that nobody know about. I mean, super duty tough work.